So high, I'm hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whichever one I missed out, I can't remember now. Welcome to the Armoury, welcome to Full Time Sport Network, welcome to the Crystal Palace versus Arsenal match preview. Got the wonderful G with me today. How are we doing, G? You on mute, mate.
Wait, bear with me.
There you go. He is sorted. He's muted himself again.
My laptop is playing up with
there
me.
we go.
Right. I don't know what's happening. My laptop seems to have a crazy lag, so you need to let me know if for whatever reason you can't hear me or I freeze, because it's showing up, it seems to be showing up perfect this end, but for some reason it's not translating. But yeah, no, I'm good, bro. I'm good. How are you, though? You good?
Well, you've entertained me, so yeah, it's all good now. I like a bit of entertainment. It cracks me up. Right, yeah. How are we feeling about tomorrow night's game? I'm pooping myself, if I'm honest. I don't know why, but I am.
I mean, you know what? It's like, first of all, it's always weird when like everybody else in the Premier League plays on a Friday, Saturday, and obviously now here we are on a Sunday. And I mean, it's been one hell of an entertaining weekend, that's for sure. I've not managed to catch many games because I've been working and juggling family and stuff, but I've managed to catch all the highlights and dip in and out of games as and when I can. But yeah, it's been really entertaining so far, and it's interesting just how all the different teams are taking shape. You can already see like who's going to have a bit of a stinker in terms of a season, who's going to be maybe potentially a surprise package, and obviously inevitably City are going to be there or thereabouts. But yeah, I mean, in terms of the game against Palace, you know what? Going into this season, I've not been nervous. I wasn't nervous ahead of the Forest game. And to be honest, I'm not nervous ahead of this one. Obviously, going to Palace away is never easy. It's always a game that I don't think any team in the top six or any team in the Premier League particularly enjoys or looks forward to going and playing there. So it's going to be a tough test, but ahead of the game, I'm not nervous at all, bro. I'm looking forward to it, man, having watched all the other teams play already.
Yeah, I had I don't know what you want. I don't want to say the pleasure, the displeasure of watching Tottenham United on the watch along. Honestly, Tottenham's midfield, they've improved. That midfield is way better. Yeah. United,
they've got problems.
They've got big problems.
I
know that if Colm is listening, I do apologise, Colm, but you were with me yesterday. That was stinky. That was really stinky.
That second half, they were absolutely outplayed.
Yeah,
absolutely. Don't get me wrong. In the first half, it was a bit of an even contest, and a couple of decisions. You know, had the penalty decision gone their way, and then obviously Bruno missed an absolute sitter in front of goal. The free header he had. You know, football is such thin margins, isn't it, in terms of how a game can alter in terms of outcome. But second half, Spurs looked absolute levels above them. Basuma I was very impressed with. He looks like the Basuma of Brighton. Obviously, why they paid that money. Even the young kid Sarr in midfield looked pretty good as well.
He was my man of the match yesterday.
But United look all over the place. Absolutely all over the place.
Yeah. Bring up to Warinda, $115 million penalty.
I actually asked in one of the group chats, was it Casado that gave away the penalty? I think it was,
He might also be on about the Enzo missing the penalty.
Oh,
Enzo missed the penalty, so it could be about that. Lads, well, Chelsea lose the bubbles. Yeah, Chelsea have lost today. United and Chelsea not in sync at all yet. Yeah, we did Chelsea, Liverpool watch them last weekend. Chelsea don't look great. Potter's got a lot to do. Yeah, but this is the thing. You can't just go out and just spend. It's an actual project. I know we don't like the term, but it is a project. You have to do everything in the right way. Thankfully, at the moment, Arsenal have done everything in the right way. Mm-hmm. We'll see what happens at the rest of the window. I might have a different perspective on it after the window, but at the moment, we're doing things in the right way. Caicedo gave penalty.
Oh, wow. So I need to go back and watch that at some point.
So basically 115 signing gave away a penalty and 115 signing
missed a penalty.
Great stuff, isn't it? Right, anyway, let's get on to the actual game. So we are going to talk about injuries first. Obviously, we know about ours. Jesus is out. El Nenny's out still for a long time by the looks of it. Timber is out. There's a lot of chat, and obviously I hear a little bit extra that he might not be out as long as we all expect him to be, which is very good news. Crystal Palace, they are missing, I can't see because it's absolutely tiny, Elise, Will Hughes, Franca, their new signing, who was the one that we were linked with actually, and Ibaway, the young kid they signed from Derby. That's all I remember. So it's an interesting injuries. Obviously, we're our main striker. Timber has been amazing. He's my favourite signing so far. Same. It's a massive thing. El Neni is.
It is what it is. Yeah,
he's one of our cheerleaders. Let's just be honest. He's a cheerleader. So it's not really important. El Neni. We love him.
You know what I mean? I've got to be real though. That injury to Timber, it seriously left me deflated.
Yeah,
like. It's the first time in a long time that an injury to a player has left me so deflated. It was similar to Gabriel Jesus' knee injury last season.
Yeah.
When we seemed, we were absolutely flying, and then Jesus got injured right at the end of the World Cup. I think it was. He was sent home early, and you kind of knew at that point the fact that they were sending him back. You kind of thought, this is not gonna be good. And I mean. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't the perfect preseason, but preseason for me was pretty good. We got some good results. The recruitment's been great. And obviously getting the win over City in a Charity Shield, first time we beat them since 2019, that was fantastic. And I mean, Forest game had its moments, but we got the 3 points, which was the most important thing. But then the news of that injury, I'll be honest, I put a couple of things on socials, but it really, really left me deflated because you could tell, like you were saying, for me, so far he was the best of the 3 signings. He literally fits Arsenal like a glove. It's like he's been here for seasons and seasons and seasons, and then all of a sudden, bang, he's injured, and you just know that he was going to have a phenomenal season. He was going to be literally in the side, probably week in, week out. So it's just unfortunate for him, the club, the squad. I just hope it doesn't affect us too much and we jump back in the market. But yeah, that injury, I don't know what it was like for you. And I know there are lots of talk online how long he'll be out for, etc., etc. I mean, if we think back to the Xhaka knee injury, I mean, he was supposedly going to be out for 3, 4, 5 months, and he returned in I think 7 or 8 weeks or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think all we can hope for is that it's a speedy recovery. Really.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of positives that we can take from the Timber situation. Like, he wasn't stretchered off.
Yeah,
ACLs, you are normally stretchered off. It's like a no walkie situation. He was walking off.
Yeah.
When they had the first assessment, they were unsure what it actually was. That's why they had to do a second chat with the consultant, and that's where they revealed it was an ACL. I still feel that it won't be the 7 months or 6 months that everyone's saying. I think it will be maybe 5 or 4. could surprise me even less than that. You don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think we'll be dipping in the market, not just necessarily for the Timber situation. I think we're going to get for another defender anyway. So I just think we're just going to see if we can get to Tavares. Obviously, Pepe, that news will break big style in a bit, but he has his contract has been terminated.
Okay.
As we expected. I've been saying it all summer. It probably one will happen. The situation with Pepe is annoying because he turned down Besiktas. He turned him down. And it's come back to Arsenal, and Arsenal just gone, you know what, just terminate his damn contract.
Yeah.
Because he's obviously wanting some kind of thing from us. And, you know, I know, Luke, I know you're not listening yet, Luke, but I know when you listen back, you will get annoyed about this because you don't like contracts being torn up. But Pepe's a nightmare. Absolute nightmare. Look, Besiktas aren't exactly a bad club. It's a good league. Turkish league is good. For me, it is anyway.
Regularly in the Champions League.
Oxlade-Chamberlain's just signed for him. Not a bad signing. So why not just go over there? But
I mean, Ziyech and Zaha are now at Galatasaray, right?
Yeah, it's not a bad league, to be fair.
No.
You're still playing the Champions League. You're still
nice weather, mostly all year round as well.
Yeah, lovely. Yeah, exactly. Not that I want it. I want Scotland weather, but there we go. That's the whole different stream. United fine to stay up, says Colm. Sorry, Colm. Madrid cannot shit. Look, I think that everyone's unfair on Madrid. I think this is out of his hands. I think something's happened him with the whole situation with Arsenal. I think something's knocked his mindset off. I actually like him. I think he would absolutely bang at Arsenal. Honestly, I do think he would. Just Chelsea's just a nightmare. Big up to D-Dubs. El Nani must be a future coach for us. The love he gets is unrivaled. Honestly, we love him. Obviously, I did a stream about Cazorla the other day. Absolute gent. We were hoping he'd come and coach to us, but honestly, what he's doing is a beautiful thing. So big up for the whole year. Pepe Le Pew. I like that. Turning down the charts like Maguire. Maguire's that situation is different because West Ham, their maximum wage is 150,000. Underneath that is 125,000. Maguire's on 190. So he would have to take like a £70,000 drop. He's not willing to do that. You can make up your own mind about if that's a bad thing or a good thing. I think it's stupid that he's rejected the offer because how are you not going to live on 120,000 is beyond me. But there we go. What hard times you're in, Maguire.
Yeah, I know. Tell about it.
I'm losing £70,000 a week. What a shame. Some people don't get paid that a year. This season will come down to if Arsenal can beat City over the 2 games again. I really hope so. You only hope so because you've got to bet on it again, so you can blame Arteta if you all fails, mate. I know your game, Cole. I know you. Right, let's talk about my 5 to watch because this has been tricky actually because Crystal Palace have weakened a little bit, but I've managed to do it.
Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you.
Right, everyone knows how much I love Mitchell, so no one's going to be surprised I've got Mitchell on the end there. But you're going to go with Eze. Eze, he's something different. They're not going to sell him because they're just not. Let's be honest. Crystal Palace are never going to sell Eze unless it's for stupid amounts, like 100 million upwards. Jefferson Lerma obviously signed from Bournemouth for a free. I thought he was very good at Bournemouth. I think Crystal Palace have got a bargain there on a free
100%.
Cheik Doucouré, obviously he's being linked to Liverpool, but he currently still is at Crystal Palace. I think he's very good. I would have him happily at Arsenal because I think he's such a little piranha. I love him. Anderson, I actually quite like him. I know a lot of
decent
people don't.
centre back, man. Decent centre back.
I think he's good. I know a lot of people don't.
Did he play for Fulham at one point?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's good, man. He's a good player. He was actually linked with quite a few big sides, but one reason or another, the transfer didn't materialize. But yeah, he's a decent player. Yeah,
I like him. I don't know what people's issues were with him. And obviously Tyrick Mitchell. This left back is my favourite left back in the whole Premier League. That's including Arsenal's because I just love him. I think he's absolutely little piranha. He's my Dixon. At the moment. He's just so good. And, he doesn't get picked for England, which annoys me because he's just so good. I don't know what you think of Tyrick, but I would happily have him at Arsenal.
He's quality. I think he's hugely underrated, and I think he goes somewhat under the radar a lot of the time. I don't know for what reason, because it's crazy because like you've got the market we've got where players are, they're going for crazy sums, and they're getting a lot of them are getting big moves to clubs. In my opinion, a tad too early. I think a lot of players, which is why I was so happy Elise signed an extension with Palace. It wasn't just the fact that it was a little bit that he rejected Chelsea. little bit, because obviously they just signed everyone. But I mean, I've always said this. I've said this for as long as I've spoken about football, is that I honestly do believe that players can get big money transfers to big clubs far too quickly. And a lot of the time it can actually stunt the development of the player and it can stunt their career. We've seen it countless times. Players signed for the likes of City and Chelsea years ago and their careers have just gone downhill, since. There's many years ahead of them. They can just kind of bide their time a little bit more. But Mitchell's one of those players that if he ever does, him and his entourage ever do decide, they need a new challenge. They want to, play for, no disrespect to Palace, but maybe a bigger club, maybe guaranteed European football every season, if you can even guarantee that anymore. I definitely want us to have our name in the hat because he's an exceptionally gifted young man. Exactly what when you look at some of the sides, the big sides, like the 6 or 7 sides at the top of the Premier League, I think he stakes a claim to get in any of those 11s. Do you know what I mean? It's not a foregone conclusion that he'll be in the 11, but he could push for a place, if not start, in most of those teams. So quality player.
Yeah, I like him. A lot of people just hate the fact that I like him. As everyone knows, I'm a fullback, so I always look at the fullbacks more than anyone else on the pitch because that's my position that I know.
Fullbacks it's become like a really exciting position, though. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like it has. When you think about like,
what you want about?
I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Like back in the day, I used to love it. Like I grew up watching the likes of Cafu and Lizarazu, and in Serie A, and then obviously the likes of Dixon, Winterburn, Savinho, Ashley Cole, whatever it is. So whether it was Arsenal or non-Arsenal, I always like the fullbacks. Obviously, it's somewhat changed now, but even when you look at the Premier League, like you look at the likes of Zinchenko and Timber, and obviously like the youth that plays for Liverpool, his name's gone out my head now. Trent. It is an exciting position. It's become somewhat glamorous again, which is good. So I fully understand why you like him.
Yeah, Moss has done his 5 to watch. Lerma, Eze, Gay. Yeah, Gay. It was a toss up between Gay and Anderson for me, but Gay gets a lot of plaudits. Anderson doesn't get so much plaudits. Edward, I'm not convinced.
I fancied him when he was at Celtic. There was a time when he was linked to Arsenal, and I kind of thought in my head, I'd admit it. I did think at the time that he was a target man that we needed and we wanted. But I've not been impressed with him at Palace, I have to say.
No, you always wonder if they can take that step up, and I'm being fair there, Celtic. You do have to take a step up to the Premier League.
I don't think he stepped up at all.
No. As there's no Franco and Elise. I couldn't pick Franco or Elise because obviously they're out. But Franco is someone that I'm looking forward to watching because we were linked with him ourselves. Theoretical question: if you picked up an injury in the midfield and you have a chance to sell Paulina from Fulham, would you want it to happen? Yes, from me. G?
Oh, 100%. There are very few midfielders in the Premier League that right now I would even consider signing personally. Obviously, the likes of the Manchester City, Rodri, Kevin De Bruyne, but they're not gettable. But if you look around the league, obviously Caicedo would have been another one. But Paulinho, absolute baller. I'd take him. I mean, I'd not happily, but I mean, if you gave me a choice between Jorginho and Paulina, then I'm gonna take him because he's younger. He's got more years ahead of him. So if you gave me an option to shift Sambi and Jorginho, maybe bring him in, then I'd 100%. But looking at the rate and the fees that midfielders are going for, God only knows what Fulham are going to sell him at.
I think it's about 80 million. I think.
Minimum.
The challenge is here. we'll get into that in a little bit. Colm. I'm just going to go goalkeepers now. If you're going to do that with me, just for people that don't know, Colm is a goalkeeper, so he's doing fullbacks because I'm a fullback. But yeah, I'm just going to go goalkeepers now. Marcel, I know you've done the challenge. I've started, so I'll come back to that at the end of the show. It is now time for everyone's lineups, and there is 9 to go for, and we'll go through it like we normally do.
Head down, push forward through the tough times, cause anything worth doing is a tough climb, and I ain't gonna give up.
Right, so G, I do apologise, but your team will be second.
No worries.
I apologise. It's only because obviously I've done it not knowing anyone was joining me, so yours is second. So what you're going to do the rating for this one, because we'll talk more about yours. So this is Tony and Tim's. They've gone for Raya in goal, White, Zinchenko, Saliba, Gabriel, Partey, Rice, Odegaard, Saka, Trossard, and Eddie. What are you going to give that as a rating? And bear in mind, Ramsdale is only in 3 of the 9 lineups tonight.
Yeah, I mean, that surprised me because obviously I'm part of the kind of group chat where we share a lot of things, and I was actually gobsmacked that so many of us actually didn't select Ramsdale. I will be absolutely stunned if Ramsdale's dropped on Monday night. I've got to be honest. The ink is not even dry on Raya's contract. And yet so many Gooners feel he should be in the first 11. I honestly, I don't understand how, and it's no disrespect, everybody's entitled to their opinion, but I genuinely don't understand how, as a manager, Arteta could legitimize that. After the length of time Ramsdale's been at the club and his overall performance and what he's brought to the club since he's joined. So, I mean, it is what it is. Arteta's the one that's got to make the call, but I would be gobsmacked if Raya, and this taking nothing away from Raya. I mean, I've looked back at a lot of the comps of him playing in Brighton. You look at the stats don't lie. I do think at some point he probably is likely to take Ramsdale's spot, mainly to do with his distribution. I thought Ramsdale's distribution was good, and then I had a little look at Raya's closely, and it's absolutely out of this world. So I have no qualms in him replacing Ramsdale as the number 1 long term, but I think given him signing, having maybe only a couple of training sessions under his belt, I would be gobsmacked if he is replaced, if Ramsdale is replaced in the lineup. But in terms of the team itself, I think it's a really strong team. It's not the team I would have gone for. Having said that, I'm going to give it a strong 7, only because there's a slight midfield change, different from mine, and the Raya inclusion. I just don't think it's fair, personally.
Oh, okay. There's going to be a few low numbers then because there's a few Rayas in here. Colm's giving it a 7 as well. To be fair,
it's a very good lineup. Very good lineup.
Yeah, he is a United fan, so it's quite fair to him to give it a 7. Bobby and Luke, I don't choose lineups anymore. This is all your shows now. I just do all the stuff behind the scenes. That's all I do. I don't pick a lineup anymore. Big up to Luke, who is my Northampton fan. I know you had a good win yesterday, so well done to Northampton getting 3 points. Hips don't lie. Stats can paint an incorrect picture, though. I would say that Raya suits Arteta's style more than Ramsdale.
He does.
That is why we wanted Raya.
And that's what I'm saying. Like long term, not even long term, I can see it happening.
Quite quick.
But I just think that he may have to wait a little bit more patiently for his chance. I genuinely can't see Arteta throwing him in the second game of the season, having just signed for us. I can't. But if he does, he does. I'm not gonna take to Twitter and start blasting Arteta. At the end of the day, Arteta works with the players. Do you know what I mean? He sees them. I can only go by from the outside, from the outside into the club. Yeah. And from my perspective, I think it would come across somewhat unfair. But he sees them train. He speaks to them. He knows them personally. I'm sure if he is going to pick Raya, they would have had a conversation with Ramsdale and Raya as well. So I trust the manager. But just from my perspective, where I am, being a fan, I just can't see it at this point.
All right, let's move on to your team. And it was also chosen by Gumza, Stuart, and Richard. So go ahead. It's your team, mate.
Yeah, man. Like obviously, number one, Ramsdale in goal, and that's how I see it personally. I see Ramsdale as our current number one, and until Raya is given an opportunity and basically gives Arteta and the coaching staff, the impossible, alternative, but to select him, I'm going to have to stick to Ramsdale. So that kind of explains that. In terms of the back four, I mean it basically picks itself. I know Gabriel didn't start in the first game. Obviously, Timber has now since become injured. But I think away from home, in particular, I think Gabriel is made for those tricky away games. He's so resilient. He's so strong. And believe it or not, people, he is consistent. I think, there are times when he makes errors. All centre-backs, all defenders make errors. I don't think there's a centre-back in world football that's not made an error or a mistake at some point in time. So that's why I'm sticking to Saliba and Gabriel. Saliba, we don't have to say no more about that. Absolute class. White at right back, and then obviously Zinchenko. I've seen some images even today from Arsenal.com that he's in full training and available. So that's excellent news. I mean, the Timber news was tough to take, but Zinchenko being match fit, fingers crossed he can stay match fit, is an absolute massive bonus because he hasn't had a pre-season. I'm not sure if he will start because he hasn't had much. I don't think he's had any minutes at all. I don't think he even came in against Forest. So that will be, this is me kind of taking a bit of a punt here, but that'll be my back four. In midfield, I'm going for Rice in the number 6 position, Havertz in the 8, and Odegaard in the 10. To be honest, it's just my choice, my preference for this game, being away from home. I think Rice can comfortably play that lone number 6 role. And I do think it's important for us to take the game to Palace and be offensive. Because I think if we go after them, I think for Arsenal, attack is the best form of defence. I don't think we particularly do very well when we play defensive, if I'm completely honest. I think we've got to go there, get a couple of goals. I think we probably will concede. So we've got to go there, get a couple of goals and just win the game outright. Look, come second half, 75th minute, if you want to, take off Havertz and bring on Partey and go double pivot, all well and good. But pick a team that's going to go there, be offensive and win the game. So that's why I've chosen that midfield. And the front three, a little bit controversial, people might think, because there's no Martinelli. Nothing against him. I just can't see beyond picking Trossard at this moment in time. Had a fantastic preseason, scored in the Charity Shield, scored 2 goals in a behind closed door match. I think it was against Norwich. And genuinely, I don't know what else he can do to get selected. But it's great because that just shows how good our team is. Because in selecting him, I was annoyed because I had to put Martinelli on the bench, but it is what it is. I'm sticking with Nketiah. Jesus is out, and Nketiah got a goal, and he's going to be brimming with confidence. Hopefully, he gets another. I think he definitely is a confidence player. And Saka Starboy explains itself. So yeah, that's my team.
Yeah, Trossard got 2 goals against Luton. Just so you know, it was Luton we played.
Oh, Luton. Sorry, I wasn't.
No, it's all right. No, mate, it's all right because there hasn't been much about it. To be fair, Arsenal haven't released any information on it.
Saka got the other one as well, isn't it?
Yeah, Saka got the other. Yeah, but neither Luton or Arsenal have released any information.
No, I noticed that. that.
No, it's to be fair, it was meant to be totally secret.
But there's always leaks in it.
That's the problem. There's always leaks. First lineup is 8 out of 10. This one is an 8 out of 10. I'm going to write 10 for G because I know he's going to give it a 10 out of 10 because it's his lineup.
Of course, this is a 10.5, baby.
Seriously, you're doing 0.5s for me. Seriously.
No, I'm joking. No, but you can rate it. You rate it what you want to rate it because I've picked it. So if you want to rate it, you can rate it.
No, I don't do it, mate. I don't.
All right, then. Well, it's a 10 then, yeah.
I let everyone just do what they want. Look, there's going to be some that you're going to disagree with tonight. There's some teams that are going to upset you. It's just what it is. Yes, boys, let's all take a moment to laugh at Chelsea.
Oh, mate. Brilliant.
Right, let's move on because Moss is in the chat. But here is Moss and also Canners went for the same lineup. Okay. Ramsdale, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Zinchenko, Partey, Rice, Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli, and Eddie. What are you going to give that one as a rating?
I mean, they've picked the same goalkeeper and back four, which is good. They've put Partey in for Havertz. Okay, I like that. I'm not going to kind of necessarily downgrade that because Partey's playing, because I think he's quality. So it's just replacing quality with quality. It's just a difference of opinion, really. And again, with Martinelli. So the fact that mine's a 10, I'm going to give this a 9.
Right,
But great lineup. I do like this lineup.
Yeah, we'll wait to see what it will say about this one. Big up to Albert. You're being brave. So Albert's gone with Raya, White, Tomiyasu at left back, Saliba, Gabriel, Rice, Havertz, Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli, Trossard. The reason he's saying no Zinchenko, he did explain to me. He just wants to give him a little bit more rest.
Yeah, Tomiyasu.
It's Selhurst Park. You know, it's not the greatest pitch in the world. So he just wants to give Zinchenko one more week to get fully fit. So, but yeah, go ahead, rate this one, mate.
Yeah, I was actually going to say that. Like when I first saw it, I was like, I kind of did the but then it quickly clocked in my mind that, to be honest, Tomiyasu's has had more minutes under his belt than Zinchenko. So I can actually see this back four happening again. I'm not too happy with Raya being selected just yet. It's nothing against Raya at all, and it's not a pro Ramsdale agenda. It's not an agenda against Raya. I just think it's a tad too soon. So you're going to lose a mark for that, unfortunately, Albert. The Tomiyasu thing, for me, it's not my choice, but it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
The midfield, again, I just think it's based on opinion. So I don't think there's no right or wrong with the three that he selected. He's actually selected the three I selected, which is fantastic. And then Saka, Martinelli, Trossard. So he's dropped Eddie. Again, it's just based on opinion. So I'm going to give that. If it weren't for the Raya, I'd give it a 9. So I'm going to give it a strong 8.
Okay. Well, there will be no more Eddie in any of the lineups, just so everyone's aware. He's only been made 3 lineups, which we've already had.
And he still can't keep his place.
I know. Well, the funny thing is, most of these are coaches as well, so they know they have their football knowledge, and it's quite funny.
I get it, man. I get it. Yeah. You know, our team this is what it's like now, isn't it? You can score and then get benched. It is what it is.
Yeah. Big up to DWCT. Hope you're doing well, mate. Let's move on to the next lineup. This was chosen by King, Nicholas, John, and Jack. They've gone for Ramsdale, White, Zinchenko, Saliba, Gabriel, Partey, Rice, Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli, and Trossard.
Yeah, I'm gonna give that. That's a strong lineup. Yeah, I'm gonna give that a 9.
9, awesome stuff. Okay, let's move on to the next one. This was chosen by Carlos, Ben, Miguel, and Karen. Raya in goal, White, Tierney, Saliba, Gabriel, Partey, Rice, Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli, and Trossard. And I will say that these are Tierney fan club. So they're trying to get Tierney in the squad.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that he's going.
The thing is, it's like every single, and I've got to say, every single lineup that people are selecting they're very good teams. Yeah, and it just show and it's ever so slight tweaks. Yeah, you know, like a player for a player, or you know, slight difference in opinion. And again, it's not a bad lineup. Again, obviously, the Raya thing wouldn't be my choice just yet. Selecting him ahead of Ramsdale, Tierney, I genuinely can't see it based on the fact that he wasn't even part of the matchday squad against Nottingham Forest. Like, it's not like he was benched. He just wasn't even. He didn't even travel, I don't think. Yeah. So I can't see him now being brought back into proceedings in terms of getting a start. I think it's more likely we will see a Tomiyasu there, a Zinchenko there, or even a Kivior. I'll be honest, like I can see Arteta picking a couple of players ahead of Tierney, just based on what I've seen. Particularly, I thought he might have an opportunity to come back into things. But then when I saw particularly with like the Charity Shield and in the pre-season he played and he was quite good, but the being out of the matchday squad kind of told me everything I need to know in terms of how this is going to end before the transfer window closes. So my personal opinion, I can't see that, so I'm going to knock off a point for that. Midfield's absolutely fine, and the front three are fine. So I'll give it an 8. Give it an 8.
Okay. Big up to Tailwood Studio. Highly, doubly I highly doubt.
Highly doubt, yeah.
Cini will be brought straight back into the
It's
starting
a fair
lineup
point.
if fit. Yeah, that's what a lot of people have been saying.
Yeah, it's a fair
Zinchenko doesn't
point.
make every. I think he's only in 3 lineups. No, 4 lineups. So yeah, not a lot of people think Cini should come straight back in right now. Give him an extra week playing. Is it Fulham we're playing next weekend?
I think isn't there a break, or is that the week after?
The week after we're playing Man United.
Right. So yeah, Arsenal Fulham next Saturday, 26th.
And then and then it's United. Interesting. Let's move on to
United on the Sunday, isn't it?
Yeah, let's move on to Josh and the Zainers. Now they've gone for Raya, White, Zinchenko, Saliba, Kivior, Partey, Rice, Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli, and Trossard. Yeah, be nice this because Josh is a very big supporter of me, so please be nice. Again,
like obviously Raya, it's not my choice. The back four, you know what it is, I think, and I'm not saying this against Josh or Zaina, but I just think as Arsenal fans, I think we're so harsh on Gabriel. You know, I really, really do. In saying that, I've not seen enough of Kivior, and I'm hoping to see more of Kivior this season. So, you know, we are going to have to give Kivior chances. I think given how many competitions we're in, we will see more Kivior. And if Kivior can show me consistently that he's as good a defender, if not a better defender than Gabriel, then I think it's an easy decision, because I think Kivior, for me, I wouldn't necessarily say is better on the ball, but I think he offers something different. I think between Saliba and Gabriel, Saliba is clearly the better ball playing centre back. Although I do think, again, I think Gabriel's ability on the ball is somewhat underrated. I think there are many a times, you know, he's stormed forward. He can break the lines with a pass. He's not a sideways playing defender that people seem to think he is. If you actually watch him, he's pretty good, but he's just not as good as Saliba. Saliba's just another level in terms of a ball playing centre back. What Kivior does have in his locker, though, is just this range of passing. So I can genuinely see, like, if Kivior can prove that he's just as good a defender. Like I said, I don't see him in training. I don't have the luxury of seeing him in training. I can only go by what I've seen in terms of when he's played, and he hasn't played a huge amount. I've seen Gabriel over a full season, and I can see what he's done. I can see what his strengths are and what his areas of development are. I don't have the same amount of, you know, resource to say that about Kivior at this point. So Gabriel would always be my choice over Kivior based on what I've seen so far. But I think if he can prove that he's as good a defender, if not better, what he has in his locker with that range of passing, can you imagine having Saliba and him in the side? I mean, it's actually mouth-watering in terms of what they could do, because they're both different on the ball. Saliba's just that Rolls Royce. He can ghost past a player, drop a shoulder. You know, he can play like a central midfielder at times. But then Kivior, again, comfortable on the ball, but then he can ping like a 70-yard, you know, pinpoint pass to the winger. And having the two of them working collectively as a centre-back pairing, I can see the attraction. So it's not dreadful. It's not a dreadful selection at all. And I think recently when he's been selected, he's done really, really well. Just for me right now, I would still put Gabriel. Just like Ramsdale, I put Ramsdale. For me, Raya needs to win his place against... He needs to earn the number one spot. And for me, again, Kivior still needs to earn that left centre-back spot. For me, it's Gabriel's. I've seen way too much from Gabriel to suggest that we should drop him. So you're going to lose a point for Kivior. Sorry. Partey, Rice, Odegaard, love the midfield, even though it's not mine. And the front three, again, I love the front three. So I'll give it an 8. The Raya and the Kivior is not my choice, so I knock off 2 points there.
All right, mate. Let's move on to Mehmet's. They have gone for Raya, White, Kivior at left back, Saliba, Gabriel, Rice, Havertz, Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli, and Trossard. What we're going to rate that one, mate?
Yeah, midfield's cool, front three's cool. I can see Arteta putting Kivior above Tierney and above Zinni, given that Tierney doesn't seem to be part of our plans and Zinni's not match fit. And right now, I think if you gave me a choice, I don't know what you'd pick, but if you gave me a choice between Kivior and Tomiyasu, I'd probably pick Kivior in the left back position. So yeah, I think that's a strong lineup. Other than the Raya decision, I think that's a really strong lineup. I'm going to give it a 9.
All right, brilliant stuff. And we'll move on to the last one, which was chosen by Luke and my poor brother. So they have gone for Raya in goal, White, Zinchenko, Saliba, Gabriel, Partey, Rice, Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli, and Havertz. And I know Luke's explanation for this is for the long ball from Raya to find Havertz.
Yeah.
Then,
Yeah. I like this. I got to admit, I do like it. If Raya comes in and it works, wow.
Yeah.
Love the midfield. Love the difference. I didn't go for this as a front three, but I do like the idea of having Havertz in the front three, away from home, Crystal Palace, big side, physical side. This could work. So other than the rate, I'll give this a strong 9 as well. I like that. I didn't really think about Havertz in the front three, but yeah, I like the look of that.
Yeah, because Luke did explain it in our group WhatsApp that it's for the long passing from Raya.
It makes sense.
Very good at. Yeah, it does. It makes perfect sense, and it could work.
Yeah, they're
I'm not
a
saying
big
it's not.
physical side, Crystal Palace.
Yeah. Big up to Tailwood Studio. The whole Rare selection in people's lineups are nothing but shiny new toy syndrome. Look, a lot of people think that Raya may push out Ramsdale.
Yeah, they do.
And
I'm not disputing it at all.
Yeah.
I just think that if I know Arteta, he'll probably go and select him now. If I know Arteta, I just think he'll sit on that a little bit longer than just putting him straight in, personally.
Yeah. I'll come back to it in a minute, actually, because Cine straight in for Moss. What I'm going to say is, I don't know if you noticed against Forest, but Nicholas is having a bigger role in like speaking about tactics and stuff. I don't know if you noticed that on the Forest game. He was on the sidelines a lot more than he should be for what is a set piece coach.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering whether or not that he's got a semi promotion within the lineup, which again maybe suggests to me that Arteta's got something up his sleeve, which I think why Raya might get picked on Monday. It wouldn't shock me. It would not shock me at all.
It'll be interesting. No doubt there'll be Twitter wars over it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely. Yeah. There's always going to be. For some reason,
Twitter never. Arsenal fans on Twitter never fail to surprise me. There'll be wars. Trust me. If Raya gets picked, you will get one half absolutely love the decision. The other half will be baying for Arteta's blood.
Yeah, 100%. Big up to Evangelist K. Bauer. Welcome to Arsenal. Never lose, never fall. I love that. Right, let's move on to challenge time.
Here we go.
Here we go. Yeah, exactly. I've got the challenge video. Right. Okay, so we've got my formation has changed for some annoying reason. Where's it gone? I did have it earlier. Where's it gone? My formation has changed. Where is it? Right. Have you got a rough idea what you're doing?
Yeah, I do.
Good, because I need to find the formation first, because the formation has just disappeared off my screen for some bizarre reason. I don't know why. Where is it? Come on, find it for me. Find it. There we go. There it is. For some reason. Right. So it is Crystal Palace's formation. So it's a 4 at the back, 2 holding midfielders, 3 attacking midfielders, and 1 striker.
Yeah.
Right. So how do you want to play this? Do you want to do the Crystal Palace players first? Obviously, it's no injured.
Yeah, let's do the Palace players first. I'm going to go right in there with. For me, is an obvious choice at left back is Tyreek Mitchell.
All right, cool. There we go, Tyreek. Okay, next one, please.
I'm going to go with the number 6 as centre back. What's his name?
Anderson.
No.
Gay.
Yeah, Gay. That's it.
Right. Your third player, please.
It's got to be. I mean, it would have been Elise, but he's not available. So I'm going to go in for one of the holding midfielders, Decore.
Okay. There we go. Okay, fourth Crystal Palace player, please.
It's got to be number 10, Eze,
Yeah.
in one of the attacking midfield positions.
Yeah, I'll put him there. Oh, hang on, you got to spell his first name.
It's the last one I'm struggling with.
There we go. Right.
You know what? Let me think of the Arsenal players. Right. What's his name? What's Lerma's best
Jeff
position?
Lerma. Oh,
Yeah.
holding midfielder.
See, I don't want to put two of them in there. That's the problem. Okay, let's go with a bit of a curveball, and we'll go with the new kid up top, Franca de Olivia.
Can't have him.
He's not available.
Yeah, he's injured.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with a bit of a curveball because Jesus being out, I don't have an out and out. When I look at the formation, for me, this doesn't suit most of our versatile players.
Correct.
This
has been hard.
Yeah, so I'm leaning towards Mateta, but I'm going to go with Eduard.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to go with him. The only other option in that position probably would have been Havertz, but nah, I'm going to go with Eduard.
Now it's the tricky one. Goalkeepers.
Yeah, Ramsdale for me. Yeah.
Okay. It's going to be interesting to see who picks Raya first. Right back. Ben
White. White right back, sorry. Saliba.
Okay. Who do you want to put as the
the other holding midfielder? I'm going to put Rice.
Okay. Okay, so you now got two attacking midfielders.
I've got Odegaard.
Okay. Yep.
And I'm gonna go with Saka.
Okay. You think he can do that?
Yeah, I believe he can.
Okay. Because you're the only one that's picked him.
Yeah.
And I'm allowing it.
Yeah.
But it was a tricky one because I wasn't too sure. Because I don't think he could do it personally, but right, so this is G's team. You've got Ramsdale in goal. You've got Ben White, Saliba, Gay, Mitchell, Decore, Rice, Eze, Odegaard, Saka, and Edward up front.
You know why I'm doing that, yeah? Because you could quickly, I know that's their formation, but you could quickly get, you could quickly get Odegaard to drop in at Eze, and Eze and Saka can switch. Like, there's a lot of those three in particular, the Odegaard, Saka, and Eze, they can switch all over the pitch. So yeah, that would be my choice. Who would you have put in that position then? Is it two attacking mids?
Well, I'm going to show you the two that done it because don't forget you're up against two people. These are what they've gone for. So we've got Steve on the left. He's gone for Ramsdale, White, Anderson, Gay, Mitchell, Decore, Rice, Eze, Havertz, Fabio Vieira, and Trossard up front. Now Nicola has gone for Raya, Ferguson, Saliba, Gay, Sinchenko, Decore. I don't know how you say his name. Amada, Eze, Odegaard, Havertz, and Trossard.
I just don't fancy Trossard in that lone, in that strike position by himself. Genuinely, I don't. No. I like the Havertz, Odegaard, Eze. I prefer the Havertz, Odegaard, Eze over Havertz, Vieira, and Eze 100%. So for me, out of the two.
Yeah, you choose Nicholas.
Yeah. But then the rest of the side, okay. He's got Mitchell, he hasn't. Okay. Yeah, it's a tough one because I prefer the three attacking players.
Yeah.
But then I like the fact that he's picked Ramsdale. The fact that he's got Rice in there. It's a boy, yeah. I can't pick one of those two. Yeah, to be honest, it's a tough one. They're both good for different reasons.
Yeah, 100%. Let's see if because the folks.
But I just think that formation with Crystal Palace, there's a reason why Crystal Palace signed players like Eduard and Mateta and stuff, and it's because I just think their formation suits a big centre forward. I'm just not sure how Trossard would do in that role.
Yeah. See, unfortunately, the vote hasn't worked today. So
Okay.
I don't know why I think YouTube's having a nightmare today. I tried to one early and it wasn't working. So I'm going to choose.
It's because YouTube knew I was going to win, so they just
I'm going to choose. I'm going to choose. And I need to remember who G put in now.
I think my team's better, man.
I'm just not convinced by Saka.
Yeah, that's probably the only thing. I think other than that, I think had I put Havertz in that position, I think I would have won.
Yeah, I think you're going to lose because you've put Saka in. I
Yeah,
don't think
that's literally it.
So G does not win this one.
Oh man,
that's my decision.
Come on, guys, in the chat. Who wins? Say Bobby's picking somebody else, but come on, chat. What are we saying? Does my team win?
Right, I'm going to pick.
It's tough.
That's tough, isn't it?
It is between these two. I got to be honest.
I do like Ferguson. I do like Ferguson, the right back. So I'll allow that because he's fine. Saliba Gay, Sinchenko. Yeah.
I genuinely can't choose between these two sides.
It's really hard. I'm trying not to be persuaded by Vieira because everyone knows how much I love Fabio Vieira. That's hard. Okay, I'm gonna choose Nicola.
Yeah, it's a tough one though. They're all good sides.
Yeah, I just think Odegaard and Havertz behind Trossard would cause an absolute nightmare, and Eze as well.
It's the three of Odegaard, Havertz, and Eze that really got me. I like that trio.
Yeah, to be honest, I have not seen enough of Armada to have a real.
No, nor have I personally. Nor have
I. Chris says G wins.
Thank you, Chris.
Moss says that Moss and G talks with. Yeah, because Moss did do a team here as well. Let's see if he's followed the rules first. But he's put Saka in there as well, which I'm just not convinced he could do a CAM. Look, for these challenges, not all our players are going to fit the system, and that's the thing you got to bear in mind. But he's gone for Ramsdale, White, Saliba, Gay, Mitchell, Lerma, Rice, Odegaard, Eze, Saka, Edouard. I'm not convinced by Edouard. We talked about it earlier, didn't we? Just
the thing is, though, is that it is a tricky one. I'm not convinced by him, but I would love to see him. Not that it's going to happen, but I'd love to see him. And that's not to say Palace don't have quality players, but I would love to see him in a side like Arsenal, where he does have the likes of Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli, either side of him. I'd love to see what it would be like, because when he was at Celtic, I'm not one of these people that sit back and change my opinions. I really fancied him. And he was one of the strikers that we were linked with that I thought, you know what, I reckon he could come, he could do a job. It's almost like we were crying out for, big, strong, tall centre forward. But yeah, it's just not worked. But he's not the first centre forward at Palace to not work. Benteke went there, he's done absolutely nothing. So maybe a big centre forward is not what they need. Who knows? Because the last two have not done that well, to be honest.
No, you can see why they were linked with Eddie, can't you? Because obviously, if they can get rid of Mateta, well, there's a lot of.
That's not happening, is it? Eddie's not leaving before the end of the window, is it? Wow.
If Mateta leaves, then they are going to bid, and it all depends on if Arsenal want to accept that bid, because they do have plans ready if something happens. So you don't know. You never know. This is the window. 2 weeks.
I think the next 2 weeks is going to be mad.
Yeah, I honestly think it's going to be the craziest 2 weeks we've ever seen.
Yeah.
G wins, which means Moss wins. Saka will win. Look, I do get that, Saka's a very good player, but I don't think he fits that system. I don't think he'd be very good playing at Palace in the way that they play. It's just not his strength. No way those teams better than ours, Cheetah. See Moss is trying to not happening.
Yes,
not happening. Right. It's predictions time. So guys, get your predictions in the chat for me. G, what are you going with for Crystal Palace Arsenal tomorrow?
I mean, I said at the beginning of the show I'm not nervous, and I'm not. But on a scale of nervousness before the Forest game to Palace game, I am. I'm a bit more nervous going into this match, but I am pretty chilled. So I think Palace are going to score. I think it's going to be a tough game, and I think we're going to sneak it 2-1.
2-1.
Yeah.
So I'll explain why I was giggling. My partner was trying to hide I'll start streaming. It's just at the side of me. She's probably swearing at me now. What's your prediction? Yeah, she is swearing at me now. What's your prediction, darling?
What?
Crystal Palace, Arsenal. Em's pretty good at predictions, to be fair.
2-1.
There you go, 2-1 to the Arsenal or Palace. 2-1 to the Arsenal. There we go.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a close game. Monday nights as well. We don't seem to do so well on Monday nights.
No, well, Tony's just done 1-1.
Yeah.
I'm to be honest, I'm with Tony. I don't think that Crystal Palace can score more than 2, more than 1 to be fair. So I'm going to go. I think we're going to struggle.
Yeah,
The performance against Forest second half worried me a lot.
wasn't great. Yeah,
Big up to T-Man. Oh, hang on. What's the number there? T-Man 210700.
yeah. 2-1 seems to be a popular scoreline.
Yeah. I'm going to try and remember to write that down as it is. T1700. So that's a 2-1. Anyone that watches this back, please put them in the comments, your predictions. I will write them down and I'll pick you up if you get them right. The combined team, the best teams to win, remember. It follows rules. It has to have the formation of Crystal Palace. But G, thank you ever so much because I know that you've moved some stuff around to
Yeah, no problem at all, bro.
It. Riley says 3-1. Oh, well, Riley. Right, I'm definitely writing that one. 3-1 to the Arsenal. Em's face is like, what? Gee, where can people find you, my friend?
Yeah, man. No, it's always a pleasure to stream with you, Bobby, man. I couldn't have you doing this preview by yourself, so had to move some things around. But yeah, man, you can find me on Twitter. That's the place where I do most of my interacting. So yeah, the handles on the screen, G Talks Arsenal, and obviously on the Armoury. But thank you for everyone for tuning in. If you haven't liked the stream, please do like the stream. And if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe to the channel. And thanks again, Bobby.
No worries, mate. Chris, I've got yours down. I wrote yours down earlier because I know you were very early with your prediction. So I appreciate that, Chris. I have put it down. Moss has gone for 2-0. Okay. We will be doing a watch along tomorrow night as well on the game. There will be a reaction, but I honestly have no idea what I will probably do it Tuesday at some point. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'm not the reaction man. I'm the preview man, the watch along man, and the news man. Reactions is not me. It's not my department. For some reason, other teams seem to have boosted playing style or players. We will not have it as easy as last year. I'm very scared for Crystal Palace. I'm kind of the same at the moment. Look, when the window's closed, I will say a lot more. But until the window's closed, I'm going to keep my mouth quiet because you never know what might happen in the next 2 weeks. But at the moment, not happy about the window. But I'll discuss that when the window closes. But guys, thank you ever so much. If you do watch this back, please put your predictions in. I really will write everything down. But I will be back tomorrow with the watch along. Should be joined by some guests tomorrow, but yeah, we'll see. Guys, take care. See you later.
Easy.